Welcome to another episode of The Switch Show. Today we are joined by a man who has spent over 3 decades proving that faith and excellence aren't just compatible, they are powerful when combined. Meet engineer Imeh Akpan, chemical engineer and an entrepreneur, and the founder of a thriving water and wastewater engineering company, Multi-Serve Limited. It has served across big and giant companies across the nation. So beyond the boardroom and technical solutions, his greatest passion lies with mentoring the next generation. So today we dive deep into his personal journey from childhood dreams to building a business empire. And this whole conversation is built around faith, family, and the courage to build something meaningful. We welcome Imeh Akpan to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, it's such a pleasure, and I don't want to look so professional with him because he's the father that pampers. He's my father. He's my friend, my father, my brother, my everything.
Nice
Either way.
Nice.
Nice to have you today on the show. Alright, so we have some questions that we want to draw from your experiences, your wisdom, your insight, everything that you need to give to this next generation for us to also try like you have tried. So we'll start a little bit, just start gently from your childhood and formative years. So are you ready for us, sir? So take us back. Okay, so take us back to young Imeh. What was the moment and experiences in your childhood that first planted the seed of faith in your heart? How did that shape the boy you were becoming?
Thank you for having me again. It's been many years, and I'm sure that I'll probably would not be able to tell you all the stories, but the ones that I remember will probably be the ones that have impacted me the most. When I was about 8 years, before 8 years, I was just living life because my parents were medical practitioners. But when I was 7 going on to 8, I traveled home with my dad, right, to Akwa Ibom, and on our way back, we had an accident. He died on the 3rd day of the accident. So I had to grow up fast. We took him to the hospital with the help of the policeman, and he was admitted. I had to sleep in the police station for the 3 days I was there, but on the 3rd day he died. Nigeria was still good then, so they handed over his wallet to me, so I had to go with them and buy a casket, hire a vehicle to take him back home, take the body back home, under the supervision and the monitoring of the policeman that was taking care of me. Anyhow, that shaped my life and made me realize that life was transient. But then, after that, I did not know that my mother was depressed. So a lot of times we would ask for things, and at times she would do them, at times she would act as if she did not even hear. I'll spare you the details, but by the time I grew to get into secondary school and maybe year 2, 3, 4 in secondary school, she really was not involved in what we did. But because, again, we lived a life that seemed deprived, I started making up my mind that I must be independent, I must not depend on any parents, and I must be successful. So I'll leave it at that for now.
So how many were you people?
My mom had 2 boys, and I was the last child. But my dad had 3 children out of wedlock, right? But they were not staying with us. So it was like we were living, I grew up in Elisha, right? While the other ones were still in Akwa Ibom. So I grew up in Elisha, so we didn't even know that my parents had other children. My dad had other children. So we were living like a cocoon life, and again, we were living inside the hospital compound because they were medical practitioners and missionary attached to the Methodist Church. Interestingly, that was the area where you had the influence of Pa Elton. So at a young age, there was this, I wouldn't say closeness to religion, but at least you heard something about God and heard something about some people can serve God, but that was the most I knew.
I'm so sorry.
It's all right.
Sorry. All right. Ouch. Goosebumps. But that was a troubled childhood life, I guess. I'm just imagining in my head.
Well, interestingly, we didn't know that it was a troubled time. We just
had your life going. That's how God does his thing. I'm really not believe because God knew that this one belongs to me. This one belongs to me. Alright, so let's just move on. So every engineer has that first moment when they realize they love solving problems. Right? What was yours? Was there a specific moment when you thought, I want to build things that matters?
It came in phases.
Okay.
Like I told you, we had a slightly deprived childhood after my dad died. So I realized that it was not possible to get what all the other children were getting. So if you wanted a toy car and you could not get it from your mom, you start thinking, well, for me, I started thinking about to create a toy car for myself. Right. The defining thing was one particular Christmas where we had this family friends and they bought him, all these battery operated guns, right, that little children play with during Christmas, and it gives you that and lights. It was so attractive, at least to me then. So I went to my mom and said, I want that type of gun too. And she told me that she could not afford it.
Straight on.
And I made up my mind that I was going to grow up, I was going to work hard, I was going to make guns for myself, I was going to, anything I needed, that I was going to do it for myself. So that was probably the defining moment. But then that probably carried me into secondary school, because I remember when I was in, I think the equivalent of SS1.
Okay.
And we started.
Class 4?
Yes.
It's called class 4.
We started doing physics, chemistry, biology. I realized that could solve my lack problem. So that was what pushed me in. I made friends that were also smart and interested in building. So I remember a few of my friends, we will go to the back of the lab, right? We will stay there all day and late into the night, just seeing how to construct things. The first thing we constructed, I think then, was an electromagnet connected to a battery and put a plate on it and see the plate flapping. And then, we did doorbell and the likes, right? So you realize that interest did not just come one. It was number one, series of events, and the fact for me that what I cannot get, I could begin to think of how to make it.
Make it yourself.
Yes.
That's so intriguing. Wow. That's huge. Nice steps. Alright, so we're taking it a bit further, and I hope we are all listening, particularly the young generation, to see how this whole thing. So sometimes the dramas we see in our lives, if I have to use that word, determines
who you will become.
Yes, I just point us to the things God is calling us into to become at the end of the day. So don't play with all your obstacles or troubles. Don't look at them as, oh, God has killed me.
Like they say, don't let your challenges go to waste.
Yes, there are benefits in every fight. That's what he had just told us right now. Benefit in every fight. Right? So if you're going through anything, take it seriously and ask God, where is the benefit in all these hassles?